European economy in sharp decline, political unrest growing in most countries in the bloc. Fortress Europe Agreement is signed. Europe liberalizes genetic modification. Leaders herald the move as the beginning of a new golden age for the bloc. Genetic modification becomes a social norm. Crackdown on non-sanctioned modification. Edgar Hollow's No Human Manifesto takes the world by storm. Modificants and activists riot in major cities across the globe. Our last broadcast. Modificant factions within the army have turned against the state. The situation is desperate.
The old days weren't all they're cracked up to be. I was just a mindless drone. Now every cell is on fire. Every day is brighter because it might be your last. And no day is like its sister. Last week, for example, I was cozying it up in the fortress. And here I am now at the edge of the perimeter, on the way to the library, an outpost in an abandoned city out in the wilds that we haven't heard from in months. But I still have to march on out there, find the blasted place and figure out what happened to those guys. At least the fortress sends a broadcast every few days to give us an idea of our surroundings. The hard part is finding a signal and getting the operator's attention when there's a bunch of us texting in at the same time. But with some perseverance and a bit of savvy mapping, it's not too hard to find my way. That's not the tough part. The tough part is staying in one piece while finding food, ammo, supplies, and getting to the objective. Just before we left the briefing, they dropped another task on us. Scout out clusters of scavenge sites that could have parts for structural projects the fortress is building, as if surviving out here wasn't hard enough. There's no shortage of weird characters either. They're not all easy to deal with, but with a bit of wits and empathy, I did manage to recruit some company. I'm going to need all the help I can get. That was a close call, but that hammerhand was too clumsy for his own good. I'm battered and exhausted, but I can't stop. My reputation's at stake. And there it is, the library. I desperately need a rest. Well done. You made it to your objective first. Your spot at the fortress is assured. Just one little thing left to do.
Posthuman Saga has an evolving storyline that progresses with each expansion published. These expansions offer a different way to play the game that reflects this ongoing story, along with 2 new heroes, each with their own unique set of abilities, and a set of 30 stories that reflect the events portrayed in that expansion. In Posthuman Resistance, the fortress asks you to go deeper into the wilds, tracking mutant slave trains and exploring mutant facilities in an effort to uncover the designs mutants are plotting. Resistance ups the difficulty level of the game through level 3 encounters and makes the completion of mission objectives a competitive affair. The Journey Home is the latest expansion that sees the fortress recalling you back home while mapping uncharted areas of the wilds. This expansion changes the way players score points altogether, where in the base game you complete missions individually. In the Journey Home, players are competing to complete common exploration missions available to all before other players do. These exploration missions trigger narrative missions that players can decide to tackle or ignore. This all makes for a more cutthroat and tense experience than the previous 2 modes of playing the game.